Hello, quilt artisans. My name is Shonda, and welcome to my channel, Under the Needle Quilting and Crafts. So this video is going to be a little bit different. I used to do these kind of videos all the time. I used to do these haul videos in 2020 and 2021. And in 2021, I basically told myself that I can't do those anymore because it was just rampant overconsumption. I did not have a stash when I started, but once I started buying, I developed quite the stash. And it was like, okay, you've got enough. You're good. And I bought, a couple of things here and there, but I'm not having these massive monthly buys. Like I would just buy stuff constantly. And then once a month, I would show you guys everything I bought. And it was just ridiculous. So I stopped. And I buy things here or there. And sometimes I show you guys and sometimes I don't. But there haven't been anything like massive, nothing big, a few skeins of yarn here, a few skeins there, a little fabric here and there, but really nothing big. But I did just recently spend some money. There were two things that I saw coming up from Furls and from Tony over at TL Yarn Crafts. Now, I've been watching Tony since 2020, once I got back into the, actually, no, sorry, that would be, yeah, I want to say I started watching crochet videos again back in like maybe 2020. I got into the quilting space back in 2018, but the crochet took a little bit longer. And I had been watching her because I was self-taught. I taught myself how to crochet before streaming existed. So there was just things I didn't know that I didn't know, right? And so I started watching quilters and crocheters to just kind of get a little bit more guidance, more information, so I could actually watch someone do something as opposed to trying to read instructions and look at still pictures, right? So, and she was one of the people that I really like to watch and that I really like to learn from. And she came out with a yarn line, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, called Happy Place. As much as I was a fan of hers, I did not purchase that yarn because I did not personally want it. It was DK weight yarn. And at that particular time, I was not looking for DK weight yarn. I had plenty of it in my stash and I wasn't looking for any. But this year, actually a couple of weeks ago, I think it was on October 11th or 12th, she dropped a new yarn line called Apricity. And this is a bulky weight yarn. It's a category 6, but she said it works up more like a 5. And now that I've got this yarn and played with it, I agree. So I'm going to just tell you a little bit about this yarn. I'm really just going to direct you to her website and her video where she talks all about it. I'm just going to tell you what colors I got and what I think of the yarn so far. So this is definitely animal fibers. It's 65% alpaca and 7% wool and 28% polyamide, because the polyamide is the casing that holds the wool and the alpaca. So the wool and the alpaca are kind of like blown into this polyamide casing. So you get yarn that looks like this, right? So there's zero splitting whatsoever. So yeah, there's no splitting because you've got this polyamide casing that's holding everything. And also, since you have that polyamide casing, you don't have that wool and alpaca like touching your skin. So at least for me right now, I have not experienced any itchiness. Not that I itch from wool all the time, but I can itch from cheaper wools. That being said, my wool mat that I use doesn't seem to bother me. So maybe that's something I grew out of. But I used to have issues with wool sometimes being a little scratchy, scratchy to the skin, and then sometimes making me itch. This is so smooth. This yarn is so smooth. And it's the softest thing I've ever worked with. This is probably, it's not the most expensive yarn I've ever bought, but it's definitely the softest yarn I've ever bought. It's the most, it feels the most high quality of any yarn I've ever bought. I've definitely paid more per skein of yarn. Definitely. This yarn sells every day. It's only available on the Hobie website, and it is $11.99. But when she launched it, there was a sale. It made it $8.39 per skein. And so I got 7 colors. And I'm hoping it's enough to make the project that I want to make. I just decided today what I want to make. I just decided today. When I picked this yarn, I had no project in mind. I just knew that I wanted to support her. I knew I wanted to try this yarn. I was in love with the colors. And so I picked the ones that I thought I would like and crossed my fingers that I don't need more. So I'm going to show you the colors that I got. I got this color here. This is called Royal. This is like a deep purple. So soft. No smell. No smell at all. And I also got this here. This is called Cypress. This is pretty green, like a sagey green. I got this one here in Stone. And these are 50 grams, 120 meters. And they work up 10 millimeter crochet hook or 9 millimeter knitting needles. I personally prefer a 9 millimeter hook, at least thus far. This one here, this one is called Mulberry, nice deep purple. Oh, that was Stone. Sorry, Stone, Mulberry. This is called Nightfall, this kind of nice soft blue. Love this color. This is Cactus Flower. I really love all of these colors. Cactus Flower and Flora. This is a deep green. And so I plan to put my colors like this. I can't get it. Okay, hold on. Get it. This is going to be it's going to be my color sequence. I'm going to start from, anywho. Now I got to remember how I had it. You really can't go wrong. I know I don't want those two together. I think that was there and this was here. Yeah. So this is going to be, I'm going to go from the green, the Flora, then the Cactus Flower, then, this pink Cactus Flower, then the Nightfall, this blue, then the Mulberry, then the Stone, then the Cypress, then the purple. I think. Maybe. I think I might switch those two. Maybe. I don't know. I still got time to decide. I got time to decide. But it is absolutely the softest yarn I've ever worked with. This is the piece that I started. It's going to be a hexagon shawl. It is so soft. I started with a 10 millimeter hook, which is what this yarn is rated for on the label. I started with a 10 millimeter hook, but I did not like it. I did not like how the stitches were working up. So I switched to a 9 millimeter and I liked that a lot better. So I haven't decided if I'm going to go back and redo those original rows. So you can see here I started, well, maybe you can't. I started with a magic circle. So these first two rows were done with the 10 millimeter hook. And then these next two were done with the 9 millimeter. So I don't think it's going to make a big enough difference for me to have to go back and redo it. So I don't think I am now that I'm looking at it, but this is how the yarn works up. It's so soft. So what I'm going to be making with this is a pattern that I found on YouTube. I did pay for the pattern because I do believe in that. I do believe that if I'm going to make the pattern, that I should at least purchase it, right? So she does walk you through the pattern in the tutorial, so you don't have to pay for it. But it's called Agatha's Reading Shawl, right? And it's by Ophelia Talks Crochet. So it's called Agatha's Reading Shawl by Ophelia Talks Crochet. And she walks you through the first 7 rows, because rows 6 and 7 just repeat until you get to the end of until it's big enough, until it's the size you want it to be. So I have no idea how mine is going to work up, because she used Aran weight yarn and I am using a completely different yarn. I cannot afford to color control this yarn. I can't afford that. I can't afford that. So I am just going to keep going until I run out of yarn. So I'm going to start with this green. I'm going to work my hexagon, and then when I run out of yarn, I'm going to pick up the next color. I'm not going to say, well, I'm not going to frog to the end of the row and then start the row in the new color. I don't think that's what I'm going to do. I don't think that's what I'm going to do. But I don't know, because I don't know how this is going to work up. I don't know how the gauge is going to be in this pattern. So it's all just kind of playing it by ear. I do want to finish my blanket first. So this will be kind of a incentive to get the blanket done, because I've got my yarn and I've already got the pattern that I want to do next. But so I'm like really excited to get to this project. So that's going to be an incentive for me to get that blanket done that I need to work on. I did work on it this weekend, but now I have like a huge incentive to really like roll through that. I probably have maybe 9 more rows to do on that blanket, and then I'll be done with it. And so I'm really wanting to have it done tonight. It's Monday night. It's football night. So maybe I can get a good bit of it done, but I really want to work on this project. I love this yarn. I can't wait to see how this project works up. I'm excited. And since I was on the website, I did see this yarn here. This is just a sock weight yarn. It's called Christmas Universe. I just thought the colors were pretty. No idea what I'm going to do with this fingering weight yarn. I mean, it's a sock weight yarn. I guess one day if I decide to make socks, I can use this yarn. Or I can just hold it with another yarn and make something double-stranded. We'll see. But I couldn't leave it. And I think I got free shipping if I added a little something. And so this was $7. And so I added it to my cart. So that is what I got from Hobie. I'm really excited about this project. I'm really excited about this project. And actually, now I'm so excited about it. Now I'm like, well, maybe I will go back. But I was like, maybe I will go back with the 9mm and do the original rows. But I really can't tell the difference. I mean, I could tell the difference as I was crocheting, but while I'm looking at the finished piece, I can't tell enough of a difference to make me go back. Like, the stitches are definitely larger here. There's less stitch definition, but it's just going to be the very bottom back of my shawl. And I don't know. I'm going to think about it. Really excited to work with this yarn. Really proud of Tony. Glad I could get some this time. I did not want any DK weight yarn. I did not, because I already had a ton of it. And I don't really want to work with DK weight yarn a lot because I'm lazy. So I want the thicker yarns because things work up faster. So I really don't want anything less than a worsted weight yarn. So I could not get her last drop, but I'm so happy with this. This is not washable. This is hand wash, lay flat to dry. The yarn label says that you can wash it, but she doesn't recommend that you do. She did a test sample, and she put her test sample in warm water in the washing machine, and it felted. So even though the label says that you can throw this in the washing machine and then, lay flat to dry, she actually doesn't recommend that you do that. So I am not going to do that. So my shawl, when it's completed, that's why initially I was just going to make a scarf because it's, but I'm like, if I'm using the same amount of yarn, it's going to be the same. So I'm just going to make what I want, and I'm just going to have to deal with hand washing and laying flat to dry. But the yarn is gorgeous. The yarn is gorgeous. This is the label. See if I can get that to focus there. Nope. Don't wanna. But this is the front of the label. So this is Happy Place Apricity by TL Yarn Crafts. And there's a picture of Tony, a little rendering, a little artist rendering, a little drawing. And this is exclusively at Hobbii. You can't get it anywhere else. I am not affiliate. I'm not affiliated with Hobbii. I am not affiliated with Tony. I'm just a fan of hers, and I really wanted to try this yarn, and I'm really, really glad that I did. The next thing that I got, so I missed out on the Furls Odyssey hooks, right? By the time I found out about Furls, I was looking at those Odyssey hooks, and I was like, they cost how much? I don't know. So I went and I got myself, I already had like some cheap Clover knockoffs that were pretty good, right? And that's what I had been using. And then I found out about the Furls Odyssey hooks, and I was like, well, those are kind of expensive. But the Streamline hooks, the Streamline resin hooks would be, they would go on sale. They'd be like, buy one, get one free, buy one, get two free. They would go on sale on the Mary Maxim website. And so I got a collection of resin hooks. Also the wood hooks, because I was able to find the same with the Furls wooden hooks. These puppies. Now, when I got all these hooks home, what I realized is I don't like resin hooks at all. At all. I don't like resin hooks. I have not liked them for any project that I have tried. I've tried it on regular acrylic yarn, cotton yarn, like other natural fibers. I don't like it. I don't like it. Now the wooden hooks, I actually really do like. I really like the wooden hooks. There is like no drag on these things. I love them. But I really wanted to try the Furls Odyssey hooks, and I was like, okay, I'm going to bite the bullet, and I'm going to go get me a couple of hooks. And when I went to go bite the bullet to get those hooks, they were discontinued, and you could not get them. And the only way you could get them is if you went on eBay and paid 3 times the price, which I tried. I went on eBay, and I was able to get some that were like $50 a piece, and I bought 3 hooks. And they were great, except the hooks that I got were not the right size. They were supposed to be, but they were not the right size. And the way those hooks were designed, the size wasn't etched in the hook. They just had a little sticker on the bottom that told you the hook size. So I don't know if there was like a mix-up or something happened, but according to my needle sizer, they were not the correct size. And so I sent those hooks back to eBay. The seller was pissed, but I didn't care because it's not what I paid for. So then they came out with the Furls Streamline metal. So the Odyssey hooks had a metal tip, and then the handle, they had this same shape, but they were shorter. And this part here was all metal, and then this part here was like a resin handle. So they came out with some hooks that were all metal, and they were just silver metal. And I was like, I don't know. And then they came out with some black colored ones. And I was like, I don't know. And then they came out with some pink ones, some blush colored ones. And I was like, well, that changes everything. So I ended up getting these two hooks a couple of months ago, maybe more, right? Because I thought they were just gorgeous. So I got this black hook in a 6.5 millimeter and this P hook in a 10 millimeter. The blush colored one in a 10 millimeter, right? So I got these two. And then they dropped a red edition. And I guess it was Taylor Swift affiliated, which I don't really care about because I'm 48 years old. And when Taylor Swift came out, she was literally a teenager and I was a grown adult with children. So when Taylor Swift came out, I had children of my own. I was working full time. I had an infant. That was not my genre of music. Now, do I bop to, the occasional song that comes on the radio? Sure. But I don't have a single Taylor Swift album saved to my Spotify playlist. I might have one song, and I think that's 22. I love that song. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22. Love that song. And I think that's the only song I've got. I don't think I've ever listened to an entire Taylor Swift album ever. Okay. So I didn't care that these hooks were Taylor Swift adjacent. I just love the fact that they were red. And I was like, there we go. So I went and I got 4 reds and an additional pink. So I have my 5 millimeter. These are stunning. I have my 5.5, my 6. I have the 6.5 that I had already bought. I did not buy the 7 millimeter, but I bought the 8 and the 9. And let me tell you what, they're worth every penny. Now, I got all of these at 20% off. The price of these hooks is $26 per hook. So when I bought these two, I had a 20% off coupon. And when I bought these, I had a 20% off coupon. Plus, I had some Furls dollars that I was able to use. So I did not pay full price, but these are pricey hooks, okay? They are pricey. But they glide like butter. Like butter. It is the smoothest hook I have ever used in my life. It puts the Clover Amour to shame. Now, don't get me wrong. Not these so much. Not these. This is still a really good hook. Yes, this is smoother, but not noticeable. Well, sometimes it's noticeable. Depending on what yarn type you're using, sometimes the difference is noticeable between this and this Clover. Sometimes it is. But not enough that it's a huge deal. But it is slightly noticeable. But it's definitely noticeable versus one of these plastic Clover Amour hooks. Night and day. Now, these are good hooks. These are great hooks. I have used these hooks. No problem. They are great. But when I use this hook and compare it to this hook, there is no comparison. I was trying it out with this yarn. And let's see if I can show you. Okay, I'm just going to do a double crochet. You're never going to be able to tell this. You can't tell. There's no way you're going to be able to. You can't tell what I feel. Yeah, that's not. Yeah, you can't tell. Let's see. there's just no drag. So there's just a slight drag that your hook has against the yarn, and this just doesn't have any. There's just none. There's just none. The only downfall to this hook, well, first of all, I don't have a problem with Susan Bates hooks. So if you don't like an inline hook, if you don't like this pointiness here, then you're not going to like these. I like that type of hook, whereas this is more rounded, right? Even this, it's more rounded. It's more like a boy hook. It's kind of a cross between a Susan Bates and a boy, but it's definitely more rounded, whereas this has a, decided definite tip. So if you're not used to that and you have a yarn that's very splitty, that's not wound very tight, like some of these cotton yarns, it can get stuck on those. But I'm used to it because I'm used to a Susan Bates hook anyway. So I'm used to this type of hook anyway. I'm used to this head type. And so it's natural for me to just not make it snag. I don't know how to explain it. But I'm super excited. I'm super excited about this project. I want to go start crocheting that blanket right now. I want to get that blanket done so fast so I can get this yarn in my bag and start on this project. Like I said, I'm probably going to do one more row just to make sure that I'm happy with how this is coming out and that I'm good with it. I'll probably just do one more round just to make sure that I'm good and that I definitely don't want to take this out and redo it all with the smaller hook like I was talking about. I don't know. But I'm excited. Every time I hear stuff, I'm like, is there a snake? Yeah. Anywho, that's probably going to be really confusing for people who don't normally watch my channel. But yeah, I had a visitor. I had a snake down here. I haven't seen it. I haven't been able to find it. But as I'm doing stuff, as I'm working, like things, the table moves, and then I start hearing stuff, and then I'm like, is it a snake? But it's not. It's just me. But I haven't been able to find the snake. I did put down some mothballs. We're going to cross our fingers and pray for the best. That is it for me, and I'll see you guys next video.